Hello and welcome to my presentation on Top Dog Source, Employee Retention Strategy. This is an information business report prepared for State Polytechnic's course, Business Communication COM 220. I, Jennifer Rupchan, will be presenting this to my teacher, Rhonda Tatchuk. Let's go through the agendas to see what you can expect in this presentation. First, we will start with Top Dog's executive summary and introduction, followed by the causes and why we think people resign. Then we'll go through our existing staff retention strategies, followed by our competitors, who they are, and how we compare. Lastly, we'll look at our current training approach and suggested strategies to improve. Wrapping up with the conclusion and leaving time for questions and comments. Top Dog's executive summary is to determine the main causes for employee resignation and to illustrate a strategy to start retaining them. In January 2013, we completed a company-wide survey with majority feedback noting health recognition is important to our employees. So in response, we introduced a $400 fitness incentive. Despite our efforts, we found this did not reduce employee resignation, which brings us to why we've conducted further research. In our research, we found that if these changes in this presentation are implemented, we may see greater success in retaining our employees. Introduction. The purpose of our study is to determine how well we train our employees, investigate underlying weaknesses, and provide recommendations to reduce resignation. The source of our study focuses our attention to causes of employee resignation, existing employee retention strategies, competitive compensation, in-depth looked at our current training module, and lastly, cost savings. The sources and methods of our materials is inputs based on the average pay scale and benefit packages of Top Dogs and its competitors, interviews, a look at successful companies that strive in employment retention, and lastly, BC team jobs, remarks from their experience. Why do we want to know? Top Dog is currently experiencing high turnover. We are currently looking at their 5th employee resignation in the last 12 months. We want to know how we can prepare to help reduce costs because it's having a negative impact on our financials. We lose productivity and man hours, in turn resulting in lost money. We want to cut costs and create an environment that will make employees want to stay. We will answer the following questions in this presentation. What do you think are the main causes for an employee resignation? 2. How is the company working on retaining staff? 3. What are the wages and benefit packages of similar companies and are we competitive? 4. What is our training approach and are employees receiving adequate training? So to answer question 1, the causes we found for resignation that impact an employee is the following. The work environment, inadequate training, lack of career growth, and not feeling appreciated. For work environment, we suggest that we introduce ergonomic friendly workstations and have an ergonomist come in and sit down with every employee for about 20 minutes to ensure that they're appropriately set up at their workstation. Inadequate training, to address that, we want to introduce a training module. And for lack of opportunity, we just want to make sure that we're looking at all the positions available and hiring in probably low entry-level positions where they can grow into a higher position. And lastly, not feeling appreciated, we just want to make sure that we're treating all of the employees with respect. Our current retention strategies that we have are several of them. We have the fitness incentive that we just introduced in 2013. We also have company functions like department lunches, Christmas parties, barbecues, and bonuses based on people's performance at year end. There's also a really good education spending account of $2,000 per year per employee. Top Dog's main competitors in this industry is Wagging Tails, Groomy Dogs Inc., and Pet Mart Supplies. With our analysis, we've noticed that Top Dog Source is competitive with their salaries and benefits, but they are not a leader. In the next 2 slides, we're going to provide details about Top Dog's standings. Right now, this chart here shows all the companies listed at the top and then what departments they have within their companies. Right now, we can see that Top Dog is second in accounting and human resource wages. They tie for first in their wages for purchasing department, and they are the highest paying company for the customer service and sales department. We've also demonstrated with a graph here with all the companies in each of the departments, and this in the blue shows Top Dog Source ranking with each of the companies. So they are fairly competitive with all the companies. They can probably improve in their accounting and human resources sector. This is a benefits comparison with all of their competitors. Again, we have the companies at the top and then each of the categories listed along the side. Looking at the dental section, they all rank at 1,500. Top Dog is last in their vision benefits, and they come in second for their massage therapy, chiropractic, and physiotherapy. They come in last with their health and fitness incentive, but they are really good with their training and education. For personal time off and vacation, they rank very low with their competitors, as they have 0 personal time off and vacation hours are only 80 when their competitors can come in at 120. Again, we have another graph that shows Top Dog in the blue and just where they fall in the rankings. Top Dog's training approach and strategy. Currently, how the training happens is that managers spend 2 to 3 days with the employee, sit down, go through everything for that employee's position. This leaves the employee with information overload and can sometimes make the employees feel like they're left to fend for themselves. Even though an open door policy is mentioned, employees are hesitant because there's a busy office atmosphere and they just felt like they didn't retain any of the information through their 2 to 3 day training. There isn't enough guidance and direction. In the future, we propose that a training manual be presented to all the employees in their position, outlining at high level what their position entails. Once they're in that and they review it, they can then have a one-on-one training session with their employer to know what to expect. When an occurrence arises, the employee can sit with their supervisor and have another one-on-one training session to make sure that they know what is expected of them. When future occurrences come up, then the employee can tackle the task, and if further information or further direction is required, then they can look for more direction from the supervisor. Conclusion and recommendations. Employee turnover costs the company reduction in productivity, money, and time. Once we implement the following recommendations, we can anticipate to see a decrease in employee turnover. Improved work environment, adequate training, employee appreciation, expansion of the health and wellness incentive. So maybe making sure that it's just not towards fitness memberships and we can make it towards maybe fitness equipment or health expenses. And competitive salaries and benefits. Yes, they are competitive, but it would be nice to be one of the leaders in the industry. This leaves us for question and comments time. Thank you for your time. This is the end of my presentation.